Hello Math 9. It's nice to see you. In this video, we are going to rock two things. We're going to talk about transversal terms, and we're going to talk about the triangle angle sum. Now, I think you've already just done a Desmos test that might have helped you think about these two things, but let's see how we're doing on this, okay? So last week we talked about, I think there are 5 terms, about what these angle pairs look like. So if I were to ask you to think about corresponding angles, you might draw 2 lines and then a transversal, and then 2 angles that are in the same relative location right here. If I were to ask you to think about alternate interior angles, you might draw 2 lines and a transversal and then 2 angles on the interior but on different sides of the transversal. If I were to ask you to think about alternate exterior, I'm getting a little lazy here with my words. You could draw 2 lines, a transversal, and then draw 2 angles that are on the outsides of the parallel lines and on alternate sides of the transversal right here. What else did we have? We had consecutive or same side interior. I'm going to write both, but either is fine. Consecutive or same side interior. And for those you just would look at 2 lines, a transversal, and consecutive, so they're on the same side of our transversal and they're on the interior. So I see some right here. And you guys did the same side exterior, same side or consecutive exterior angles right here. So I could do 2 lines, bam, same side exterior. Okay, it'd be these guys right here are an example of that. Now, what we haven't talked about is if these 2 lines are parallel, we know more things about these angles. Let's write that down right here on your notes. If the 2 lines are parallel, then we know more. So I'm going to take my ruler right here and I'm going to draw 2 lines that have to be parallel. So I'm going to draw them like this. It's going to be a little iffy. Boom. And boom. These lines are definitely parallel. And to mark these lines are parallel, I'm going to use this arrow sign right here. That tells me that these lines are parallel. Now I'm going to put a transversal through this right here. Okay, now I have 2 parallel lines and a transversal right here. This line is my transversal. Label that right here. Now, if I have, I don't know, let's say I'm going to label this A, B, C, and D. If I take a little bit of patty paper right here, which is just parchment paper from the kitchen, and if I outline some things, I'm going to outline these angles right here. If I were to translate them down, what do you see happening here when I translate this thing down? Does it match? Pretty well. Let's show that again. I have these angles right here, and I'm going to translate them down right here. I want you to pause the video for a second and just say, all right, what do I know about these 4 angles up here and these 4 angles down here? Pause the video, think about that. When you come back, I want to think about this. So on parallel lines right here, on parallel lines, corresponding angles are what? Pause the video, talk to someone around you, talk to yourself. what word should go in here if we're on parallel lines right here? And then I'll keep going on. Alternate interior angles are alternate exterior angles are same side interior angles are, and same side interior angles are. Let's see. So if you thought about this a little bit, let's think about it a little bit. So if I have B right here, I'm going to put a dot next to B. The corresponding angle for B is up here. And I think once we show this, we can see that this angle right here is congruent to its corresponding angle. And you will find that to be true for all corresponding angles. So on parallel lines, corresponding angles are congruent. Whoops, congruent. Alternate interior angles right here. Let's look at A right here. I'm going to put a dot next to, or a little star next to A. And I think its alternate interior angle is right over here. Let's think about this. If we have this angle, and then we show it up here and kind of do a little switch around, are these two angles congruent? I think so. All alternate interior angles are congruent on parallel lines. Congruent. Alternate exterior angles, I think you guys might be seeing how this works, but let's do this. So for D right here, I'm going to put a star with a circle around it, and a star with a circle around it over here for its alternate exterior angle. Let's see if D is congruent up here. It is. Okay, so we know that alternate interior angles are congruent as well. Now let's check out our same side right here. Our same side interior angles. So that's like A and this guy right here. I'm going to put an X right here. So X, this angle right here, let's see if it's congruent to its same side interior angle right here. So boom, I'm going to go around here. And I can see that this is not true. These are not congruent angles right here. But if A is congruent to its corresponding angle, and if these are a linear pair of angles right here, then I think I know that A and its same side interior are not congruent, but they add up to something that we know. What does that add up to? 180 degrees. So we know that our word for that is supplementary angles right here. And the last one, same side exterior. Exterior. Same side exterior. We know that if we were to look at this, that we would have C. I'll try to do, C, and I'll put a little plus sign. This angle right here and this angle right here are same side exterior angles. And I think you guys can see that these are not going to be congruent, but they will, if they're not congruent, then I think they're going to add up to 180. And so same side exterior angles will be supplementary. All right, folks. This, I hope you can pause, you can rewatch this, but I want to go right on to our last conversation here, and that is with triangles here. I'll let you guys look at this for a little bit longer. You can feel free to pause. The last thing I want to talk about here in our last minute is going to be the triangle angle sum theory. The triangle sum theorem. And there are lots of ways of thinking about this, but we have found out, as human beings, we have found out that the three angles of a triangle have a certain property. And on that Desmos task, I think you might have seen how this story ends. But we're going to be proving in a few different ways that all of the angles of a triangle will always add up to 180 degrees. So if I give you a triangle right here, and this here is 87 degrees, this here is 63 degrees, find out the measure of this last angle here. Press pause, do it. And you're coming back. So I know that these three angles right here are unknown, plus 87 plus 63 will be equal to 180. Oh boy, 87 plus 63 is like 140 plus a 10, so I think that's 150. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then subtracting by 150 each time is equal to 30 degrees. And we'll continue from there, guys. Thank you very much.